Hello and welcome back, and this is your second lesson for today, measures of spread. If I think about spread, I guess the way I like to think about it is if I'm putting butter or peanut butter on a piece of toast, I want to spread it on, meaning I want to go from one side all the way over to the other side. So it's spreading the whole distance of the piece of toast. So the measures of spread are talked about with the distance between 2 points in a data set. So we're going to be discussing range and interquartile range, or you'll sometimes see the abbreviation IQR. Again, if you need to pause the video at any time to write information into your notes or to do a practice problem and then pause it to check to see if you're correct, feel free to do that. You can watch this at any time and replay it if you need to. So let's get started with range. Range is the difference between the greatest value and the least value in a data set. So that's what range is. So here's our science test grades. The first step is to order the data from least value to greatest value. If you remember in the last lesson, when we were talking about median, we also had to list them from least to greatest. So anytime I'm working with data sets, I always like to write them in least to greatest value. So I'm going to start, it looks like 63 is the least. Again, I always like to cross them out. Then we have 75. Then we have 76. Then we have 78. I probably should have written them down here. That might have been a little bit easier, but we'll see how it goes. Then we have 81. Then we have where there's an 80 there. 81. There's my 80 I missed. We have 87. We have 89. I have 91. I have another 91. 95. I'm going to have to rewrite this. And 100. And 100. Okay. I'm going to write those down here just so I have a little bit more room. 63, 75, 76, 78, 80, 81, 87, 89, two 91s, 95, and 100. Okay, I'm going to try to erase those other ones since I don't need them. And now that I have them in order, count how many numbers I have in my science test data set. It looks like I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Do I have 12 numbers listed down here? Because if I don't, remember that means I missed one. So we're going to count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I have 12 numbers. So that was my first step. Then I'm going to, my second and final is I'm going to subtract the least value from the greatest value. So it's easy to tell now that 63 is my least value and 100 is my greatest. So to find the range, all I have to do is take my greatest and subtract my least. And when I do that, I end up getting 37. So the range of my data for these science test grades is 37, the greatest value minus the least value in the data set. Pretty easy to find the range, right? That's a measure of spread from one edge to the other edge. Now, if I go to interquartile range, it's going to be a little bit different. It's still a spread, so it's still going to be distance, but it's going to be the difference of the upper and lower quartiles. So again, I have my same science test grades, so we're going to list them in order just like we normally do because our first step is to find the median. So we always have to have them in order. And I have a 75, 78, hopefully, 63 was down here. I missed that one. Then after 78, I have, let's do this again. 76. Let's do this. Try it again. So I have 63. It helps if you cross them out. I have 75, 76. Then I have 78, 80, 81. These are the same science test grades, so if you had them listed in order once, it'd be really easy to use that same data. 89, 291s, a 95, and a 100. Again, I always count my data points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I have 12 data points. So if you remember in that first video lesson from today, to find the median, we're just going to cross them out using least and greatest until we find the middle number. And you'll see I'm just making little check marks because I don't want to cross them out completely. I still want to use them. And this is my median, right? It's that middle of these two values. So if you remember correctly, I need to find the average of these two numbers. So I'm going to add 81 plus 87 and divide it by 2. If I add these two together, 7 and 1 is 8. That's 168 divided by 2. And that would be 84. So I know my median is 84. Now, this separates my group into two halves. So you should be able to see that. I have two halves. I have a lower half and I have an upper half. Okay, 84 is my median. So what that does is it separates my values into two halves. Let's use a different color. So from here, all of these are my lower half, right? This is the lower half, and this is my upper half. Okay, but we're talking about quartiles. So quartiles, if you think about quarts, that's a group of 4. So what I need to do is, for the second step, find the median of the lower half as well as the median of the upper half. Well, this is the same thing. The only difference is I'm only using this lower half of the data. So I'm going to cross out 1, 2, remember the least and greatest, and here would be my median. What's between 76 and 78? 77. Great job. And I have to find the median of the upper half. So I'm going to cross off least and greatest, and look, I have two 91s. Well, what's between 91 and 91? 91. So I have the median of my lower half and the median of the upper half. If you look really carefully, you're going to see that this separates my data into 4 quarters. Do you see how there's 3 numbers in each quarter? That's why it's called quartiles. So the last and final step is to subtract the lower quartile, that's this value, from the upper quartile, that's this value. So this is my lower quartile and this is my upper quartile. I'm going to take 91 and subtract 77. And when I do that, I get 14. So my upper quartile for this set of data points is 14. Pretty easy enough. You're just finding medians of different parts of data points. Let's try another one really quickly before we let you off to do your own. I'm going to find the upper quartile for the beats per minute during the month of April. So if I'm looking at my data points right here, I don't even need the data points for June. I'm only looking at the data points for April. Think about what your first step was. Did you get it? You're going to find the median of all the data. So I have to list them in order from least to greatest. It looks like 70 is my least. And then I'm going to go to 72. And then I have a 75, 76. I have 80. 82. So you're just listing them in order, least to greatest. With a lot of our data problems, you're going to need to find that you're listing them in least to greatest order, so I just like to do that anyway. And 86. I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I should have 9 numbers listed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I need to find the median of this data set. I'm going to lightly cross out least and greatest pairs until I come up to the middle value. And look here, our middle value is 80. Now what this means is 80 is not part of my lower group and it's not part of my upper group because this is the median value. So now I can't include that 80. Remember in the last problem we had two numbers in the middle and we split them down the center? But the median actually separates them into two groups. So now my lower half only consists of the 70, 72, 75, and 76. That's my lower half. And my upper half only has 4 numbers as well. 80 is not included in either one of them because that's my median. So now I need to find the median, step 2, of the lower half and the upper half. So I'm going to cross off least and greatest pairs, and my lower quartile is going to be right here, 72 to 75. So I'm going to add them together and divide by 2. And remember, we don't want remainders, so you're going to add that 0. So 73.5 is my lower quartile. Got it? Okay, so that's my lower quartile. Let's try with my upper quartile. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing, least and greatest. Oops. And what's between 83 and 84? 83.5. So I found the median of the lower half, that's my lower quartile, and the median of my upper half, which is the upper quartile. The last and final step is finding the IQR, the interquartile ranges. So you're just going to subtract the two. So I have 83.5 minus 73.5, and I end up with 10. So my interquartile range for this set of data, the month of April, is 10. So again, find the median, then find the median of the lower and upper half, those are your quartiles, and then subtract them. If you have any questions, be sure to let us know, and we'll see you next time.